Tonight I'm going to tell you a story of triumph, a story about an underdog who had everything stacked against her, a story about an evil villain who stole a sweet and gorgeous protagonist's most prized possession and left her with a craving for revenge. Now, the villain in question is an 18-year-old hairdresser named Briaylin. And the sweet and gorgeous, young, tiny, beautiful protagonist is me. Obviously. And the epic tale in question is about when this girl stole my phone. She stole my phone. And it might sound frivolous, it's just a phone, but this story's not really about just finding a phone. It's about finding your voice. Yeah. The story begins with me on a date with this really hot chef whose entire head is tattooed. And normally I'm like, ugh. But in this case, I was like, ugh. After dinner, we came to the Rechabite rooftop for some drinks and some dancing. We then Ubered back to mine. When we get back to mine, we do the usual thing you do on dates. When you both know you're about to bang, but you're kind of just like sitting on the bed being coy, waiting for someone to make that first move. And it was during this pointless pre-sex chat where it dawned on me. I didn't have my phone. I'd went to go turn my mood lighting onto the colour red because I look really good in the colour red. And it wasn't there. So then I start doing that embarrassing thing when you've lost your phone, which is retracing all your steps, rummaging through bags, talking to yourself. And it kind of looks like an adult temper tantrum. And this is all particularly embarrassing when you're still trying to get laid and be sexy. Hot chef guy calls my phone 10 times. We call the Uber driver's phone 10 times, and nothing. So devastated and stressed, we have sex. And I just try to forget that my most prized possession is gone. And now it's only prized to me because I'm so poor that losing an iPhone is really going to fuck me up economically. At around 5 a.m. we wake up and Hot Chef's phone goes off. And in my drunken, hungover state, I roll over and ask, "Is that the Uber driver?" Thinking that my phone had been found, but it was just his alarm clock to get up. He leaves, and I'm left there naked, hungover, devastated that my phone is still not with me. I then borrow my housemate's phone to just do a last-ditch attempt at calling this Uber driver. And to my astonishment, he finally picks up. And he tells me that after he dropped us off, he picked up this 18-year-old girl, Briaylin, and he had spotted my phone in the back seat, and she grabbed it out of his hand and said, "I know who that belongs to. I'll make sure it gets back to them." And then he was like, "Oh, all right." And as he's telling me this, I'm kind of crying because, again, very poor, hungover, but like also just frustrated with myself and at this very trusting Uber driver. I asked the Uber driver, Dave is his name, if he will give me the location of where he dropped her off just so I could maybe get an idea. Dave then gives me her full address, which I'm pretty sure is very illegal. But then again, Dave is talking to a crazy crying bitch on the phone, me, and he probably just wanted the conversation to end. So now I have Briaylin's address, but what I don't have is a way to get to her house. I don't have a car. I don't have my license at this point. My housemates are busy. There's no easy way of me getting this phone back. So it's then when I make a very bold and quite frankly entitled little bitch move, and I ask Dave if he will come pick me up take me to Briellen's house, and then bring me home again. And it is worth noting that Briellen lives in Malaga, and I was in Mount Lawley at the time. This is a really big favour that I'm asking of Dave, and one that I can only assume is really fucking annoying. But Dave obliges, and he says, yes, I know. He said he feels really sorry for me, and that he can tell that this phone means a lot to me for whatever reason. And yeah, it does, Dave. Very poor, and there's a lot of things on that phone that I would love for no one to see. So he picks me up for me to confront this 18-year-old girl in Malaga. And it is worth noting here that I did offer Dave $30 for this revenge round trip to Malaga, which I know is not enough, and I know I am the problem, and also maybe a villain in this story. I digress. He picks me up, we get there, he stays in the car, we're at the house. I get out, I'm walking across the yard, and there's this older, scary-looking gentleman washing his car. And I very tentatively ask, oh, is there a girl called Briellen that lives here? And then his response is, depends who's asking. Which I think is a scary response, and one that is quite indicative of how the rest of the situation unfolds. So then I give him this spiel of like, oh, I've left my phone in the Uber, I'm just here to get it back. And whilst I'm talking, he's like staring me down. He's very standoffish. And look, to be fair, I did somehow get his address, and now I'm in his front yard. So I get it. He reluctantly tells me that Briellen is his daughter and that she's at her hairdressing apprentice job right now. But he'll go get his wife and see what she can do. So we walk to the front door. They go inside, and then the wife comes to the front door, doesn't open the front door, just kind of talks to me through the stainless steel mesh door, which again, fair, I'm a stranger. She says she'll call Briellen and see what the go is. She calls her and they talk for like 15 minutes on the phone, some of which I'm privy to. Other times she walks away, so I purposefully can't hear. And whilst that's happening, the dad is still kind of just staring me down, and it's a bit scary. And Dave is just in the car watching this kind of all happen. She gets off the phone and she tells me that Briellen does have my phone, but she was just going to give it to me when she sees me next, and she doesn't know why I can't just wait for it. And I'm standing there and I'm like, I don't have any 18-year-old hairdresser apprentice friends that live in Malaga, so it's all just like a bit weird to me, and I'm getting like very fiery, but I'm so scared of confrontation. So what I say is, oh, I don't know your daughter, so that's a bit weird. And then I thought that was a really diplomatic, if not like pretty factual thing to say, but Briellen's parents didn't. And they started yelling at me. And they were going to town on me. They said that I was like accusing their daughter of stealing my phone, because she did steal my phone. That phone had like 30 missed calls on it. Like if she was going to give it back, she would have picked up. Anyway, there's a lot of yelling happening. And it kind of feels like I'm just not going to get my phone back. Dave is now outside of the car, and he's like leaning against the driver's side, which I initially read as like a move of solidarity and support. But I think he just wanted to stretch his legs. After a lot more yelling and me doing some light crying, because any confrontation will make me cry, Briellen's mum finally just agrees to go check her daughter's room. And then after a little while, she comes back with my phone. And I'm so thankful in that moment, and I'm so grateful. I tell them how grateful I am for them taking the time to talk to me and yell at me. But in that moment, I'm so sincere, because I feel like if I was remotely sassy, they would have punched me. I grab my phone, I go to walk down the front steps, and then I hear Briellen's dad yell, "Don't you dare fucking come back here." And then this is the moment where I find my voice. I get a little bit of confidence, and I turn around and I'm like, why would I want to? And then I do a quick run to the car, and I tell Dave that we need to go right now. Dave drives me back to Mount Lawley and I transfer him the $30 on the spot. That was a huge chunk of his Saturday that he did not have to do. And he was paid very little for. And again, I know that, and I am maybe the villain, and Dave actually is the true protagonist of this story. This was back in 2020, and I've changed a lot as a person. I'm no longer as poor. I do have my license. And mostly, I'm not afraid to get in a fight now. So if Briellen's parents are in the audience and they want to fight, meet me upstairs and I'll punch you.